Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Anonymous is essentially if John Wick got into a 12-step recovery program for killers. Like that was sort of the elevator pitch I had in my head. And it wasn't called Assassin's Anonymous when I started writing it. It was called The Program because he's in a 12-step program and people who are in programs typically call it program, like I'm in program. So I thought The Program was a cool title, and then I realized that was a completely meaningless thing. So I was like, no, Assassin's Anonymous sounds cooler. And I had known for a very long time that I wanted to write a story about hitmen in a group therapy type setting. And then when I realized that the 12-step program gives a little bit more structure, and plus there's an amends process. And well, what does amends look like to someone who kill people for a living? I was like, yep, there is a book here. So the amends process, it's the eighth and the ninth step of 12 step, is that you have to put together a list of all the people you've harmed in the course of, your addiction. And then the ninth step is going and making amends to those people. And there are two kinds of amends. There's a living amends where, if you approaching that person could prove to be hurtful in any way to them, you don't do it. You give them the peace that they deserve, and you sort of, commit to just being a better person and living in a better state. Whereas an in-person amends is you actually go to the person and you apologize and you tell them what you did and why you did it, and it's a very difficult and intimate process, and the idea of someone showing up on your doorstep one day to tell you like why they killed your loved one and that they were sorry about it, was interesting to me because I love assassin movies. I think they're great. They're super fun, and I'm not putting them down. But the more I watch them, the more I realize it's like, man, every single person that John Wick shoots in the head, that person probably had a family member who loved them, or someone in their life whose life is now worse because that person is gone. So I thought it would be interesting to sort of look at it from that perspective and think about what the greater cost is to this. I think the biggest thing that I enjoyed was trying to put Mark in situations where he had to think his way out of things, because in that reality, he was like one of the greatest hitmen in the world. And then all of a sudden, he can't kill anybody. So he's got to figure out how to get out of a situation with his words or by just being smarter than the other guy versus being able to shoot them in the head. So that was a ton of fun. And in a general sense, it's just a really fun challenge to say, okay, like I want this book to be really high octane. I want it to move really fast. I want it to be exciting, but I also want it to be kind of contemplative. I want it to be thoughtful. So kind of threading the needle between those two things was a huge challenge, but also just a ton of fun as a writer. I can't really pick a favorite supporting cast character because I love all of them. I loved that I can create a room of other assassins for him to just hang out with. And but I will say that the one character that people have really like just grasped onto so strongly is the cat, because Mark has a cat named Pea Kitty, which is the name of it was my grandmother's cat, which my brother and sister had named. And everyone loves the cat. And I just thought it would be nice for him to have a cat. I mean, the cat ends up playing a role later in the book in terms of like his sort of journey toward, self actualization. But I thought it would be fun. It was one of those things that I was like, this is cool. I'll do this. And then everyone loves it. So I'm happy.